there's always something exciting, interesting, challenging, annoying going on. And that's the life of a CEO.
And I'm Jensen Mueller with Explain It to a Teenager, and I'm here with
Mark Zagorski, CEO of Double Verify.
So Mark, explain to a teenager what you do for work.
So I'm CEO of Double Verify, and what we do is that we ensure when an advertiser spends money on a digital media platform, so ones where I'm sure all your friends are, like TikTok and Meta, and even the open web, we ensure that those ads that advertisers buy on those sites are delivered in the right context, so around the right kind of content. We ensure that they're viewable by a human and not a bot. And that they're delivered without any fraud, so the transaction is actually legal. Once we do that, we ensure that the advertiser gets the best deal possible, so we compress the price, and we ensure that that ad has an outcome, so that when you see an ad in TikTok, if you actually buy something that's based on that ad, that the advertiser gets credit and TikTok gets credit as well.
Wow, a lot of
That's
different things there.
Yep.
Yeah. So can you give me some specific examples of how you stop fraud and how you make sure you're getting the best price? Like, I understand it's on these other platforms. So how exactly does that work?
Yeah, so believe it or not, and this is going to sound crazy to your viewers, fraud, ad fraud, so people stealing money from advertisers is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Wow.
It's a sophisticated criminal enterprise. And what they try to do is create fake sites that look like real sites. They hijack devices. So believe it or not, you may have seen connected refrigerators, right, that have internet connections.
Yeah.
Fraudsters run single pixels, so one digital pixel on that screen, and send it out as an ad unit.
Oh.
So someone thinks they're actually buying an ad unit, but what they're buying is a single pixel on a refrigerator someplace.
And
like
no one's going to see it.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So we have sophisticated software, we have data scientists that look for patterns that are weird and try to stamp out that fraud. So it's a big deal, and we save companies tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every year on that.
And then it sounds like, you talked about the refrigerator, some of these platforms that a lot of kids use. How does that work with those platforms? Because obviously those ads are being shown on certain platforms, like, I don't know, like Instagram, for example.
Sure.
Right? And how do you because obviously you don't control that platform. So how does that work? Like, how do you work with the companies to make sure?
Great question. So we have direct relationships with Meta, for example, which owns Instagram and which has Reels and Threads, and so we work with them directly. They provision us access to the media transactions, so they give us data around that, and we help them analyze that data to tell them, hey, this is a valid transaction, this is not a valid transaction, this looks like it could be fraud, this was not viewable by a person. So we detect bots. We look at the value of the transaction, but the bottom line is we're partners with them because they want legitimate advertisers to feel that they're in a legitimate environment.
Okay, so that's like their incentive.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
it's private,
for sure.
It's legitimate,
Yeah.
It's happening. Awesome. Well, really cool. So how did you get into this?
How did I get into this? It's a long journey. So I've been in digital advertising for over 25 years. So well before you were born, well before most of your viewers were born, I took my first job, and here's a little career tip. This thing called the internet was just starting.
Yeah.
I was in the actual fashion business, and I had to build a website for my company. And I was like, this is where the future was going. I was in my mid-20s, and next thing I knew, I was working for a digital ad agency, and it was one of the first digital ad agencies. And from there, I've been in digital media and digital marketing ever since.
So now that you're the CEO of a large public company, what does a day-to-day basis look like for you? What are some characteristics of a job so our viewers can really know what it's like to be CEO?
Well, I can tell you one thing. No 2 days are ever alike. We're a company of over 1,200 people all around the world. So from Sydney to Singapore to London to New York to Tel Aviv to Paris to Brussels. So we always have some new exciting challenge. We're launching products constantly. So we're launching new products. We've got new challenges. We've got people challenges. We're public, so we deal with the public markets all the time. So there's always something exciting, interesting, challenging, annoying going on, and that's the life of a CEO, which is fun because that's what makes it exciting, right? There's no 2 days that you sit in and do the same thing any 2 days in a row.
Wow, awesome! Sounds like a lot of fun. What would you say to kids watching this around the world? Why should they care, and why should they want to get into this? Right. Obviously, the internet's already exploded. We're onto new things. Why is this relevant to them and important to them?
Well, I mean, look, if you're watching this, you're in a digital media, right? You're engaging with digital media. That digital media is supported by advertising, right? If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this anywhere in any social network, it's supported by advertising. And making sure that advertising is still funding great content like this is super important, and we ensure that occurs. So I think it's important just for what we do every day, and it's a part of our lives. I mean, we spend, besides sleeping and mostly working, the third thing that we do is we spend our lives online, and making sure that that world is robust, has lots of diverse viewpoints, and is supported by advertising is super important.
What are the benefits of that advertising to the consumer?
The benefits of the advertising are, okay, it keeps you from having to pay for things, i.e., Meta is free, TikTok is free. The reason why they're free is because ads support it. So there's a benefit for there. And it also, I mean, look, in its best manner, advertising is informative and does tell you about things that may be important to you and relevant to you. And I think the one thing digital advertising does is it does it in a way that's more contextually appropriate for you as a consumer. Like, there's stuff that you are interested in, not just the world is interested in, like linear TV used to be, right? It was kind of like, why are you watching ads for senior citizen vitamins when you certainly don't need them, right? And I think relevant advertising is informative and important for all consumers.
And then in relation to looking forward towards the future, what are the next steps for your company? Right, obviously there's a big AI revolution right now. It seems like you're doing a pretty good job keeping all this stuff secure. So what is the next steps for you? How do you expand?
Yeah, so we're expanding. So if you can see over here, Verify, Optimize, Prove. We've recently acquired a couple companies that allow us to not only find and protect ad spend, but ensure that the ad spend is compressed, the cost of that is optimized as cheaply as possible, and that we prove an outcome after that. So we continue to expand, we acquire companies, we're continuing to invest in AI and tools that make it easier for our customers to engage with us and for us to analyze tons of data. So much excitement in the space and lots around the corner.
Awesome. And then one final question.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is probably not what you expected to do, right? Coming out of college, going into college. So what do you say to any kids out there that don't really know what they want to do? They don't know what they want to study in college, right? And they're uncertain about where life's going to take them. What do you say to them?
Take the job nobody wants and make it your own. I can tell you, everybody thinks that there's glamour jobs out there, and wouldn't it be great to do this thing or that thing? Find the job that you think has the greatest opportunity for you to shine. And even if it's something that's not super exciting and no one else wants to do, make it yours. And you'll be successful at it, right? And I think that's a key thing to know is, everyone's gonna run for the same roles. Do something different and don't be afraid to do it.
Wow, well, thank you so much for your time. Super interesting.
Good meeting you.